marching home again. Hurrah, hurrah. Give him a hearty welcome then. Hurrah, hurrah. Men will cheer, the boys will shout, the ladies, they will all turn out. We'll all be free when Johnny goes marching home. John's not coming home again. He's gone, he's gone. He gave his life that freedom could live on.
My PTSD brought me to the point of suicide. I wouldn't be sitting here right now if Mary wouldn't have answered the phone. I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
It doesn't matter if the guy is a soldier, if he's a friend, if he's a brother of mine. Every life is precious. You know, I'm missing my arms from Iraq. I was a soldier, I've been divorced, you know, I've had breast cancer. Whatever you got, man, I've been there.
I broke down. I poured my heart and soul out to her and told her everything that was going on with me.
He has gone from wanting to end his life and completely give up and leave everything behind to becoming the father that he wants to be. We still have never met in person, but we tend to talk like we're old friends. We just, I know him. I know you're here. Oh no.
I know that you already have your Purple Heart, but I want you to have this for saving my life.
Can you light this up? I know you went through a lot, but you're not alone. You'll never be alone. I think when you have a bond with somebody that's on a life and death level, it changes your perspective of the world. You almost need to know that person and have them in your life just because of how much it changes you. I'll always be here.
I wish more corporations support Wounded Warrior projects. Kleenex is using it for their product, but they're doing a good job in the process. I used to work on a yacht called the Honeybee. It was owned by Sidney Gutkin. He used to do the taxes for Kimberly-Clark, which owns Kleenex and that. That's a cross out in my studio. My home has been sold October 18th. Last Sunday I received a 3-day eviction notice. And I am working with Duke Company, who purchased the home. What they're doing, what they do professionally, they buy houses everywhere. When they foreclosure auctions. This is more of my home, which is Duke's home now. I haven't quite given up. There's a possibility that there's some fraud dealing with the whole loan process. We'll go in the house shortly, and you'll see that board and the flag that I had in front of my gallery, where I had a memorial garden for soldiers until illness and also problems created for me. I closed my gallery at the end of 2007. The sign that is there speaks about pray for soldiers in the Mideast, over 6,000 lost, supreme sacrifices, reach out and help their families. I was 6 years old when my father was missing in action in the North Atlantic. I was also instrumental in promoting the idea of honorary scholarships, which became a reality. I shared that idea for years, going back to Desert Storm. And every year I suggest that, and it eventually became a reality. Other people would like to cut it out, and it's an expense. Some people are very quick to send soldiers to war and very quick to cut their support. It's all about money to them. These people who are that way at times never served. They think nothing of it. Well, let's send our boys over there, we can mop them up. And our soldiers lose legs, arms, lives. I was outspoken about the Iraq War. I think it goes back to what I prepared a gift for NATO when we had a big NATO conference out here. And I wrote on it, may the common goals of understanding and peace be assured through mutual respect, unity, and strength. It's like, let everybody join in. America can't do it alone, and nor should they. And our soldiers should not be the only ones being killed. I had a problem where after I had my hip replacement at 5, and I ended up going to the VA hospital for an operation, and I got a bone infection. I do a lot of work with people in rest homes and residents in hospitals who are ill. And I take a special interest in soldiers and their families, veterans. After my home was sold at an auction November 18th, even before that happened, I was spending a lot of time with Leroy Schwab, Master Sergeant, terminally ill, dying of cancer. He passed on 11 days later after my home was sold. Go see him just about every day. We had a way of creating a sense of humor about what was happening. Never letting anything get us down. I remember when he was a friend of mine from church too. He knew I had gone up to see how, having x-rays and that, to see how my leg was doing. I came back and Leroy asked me in church, how did it go? And I said, with a somber voice, I said, you want to amputate, Leroy? And he said, your leg? And I said, no, my head. I'd taken the CIA on, including Mayor McLeod, Sue. When they created problems for me in a memorial garden that I had for soldiers, right in front of my gallery in Carmel. And I tended that, even though I was in pretty bad shape with my legs. I'm going to bring you inside now, but first off, I'm going to say please support the Wounded Warriors. I really went down in my finances. I went from making as much as $138,000 in a quarter. In the last 10 years, I haven't sold $75,000. In the last 4 or 5 months, people have interfered with my telephone calls, internet, to see the mouse being moved around on the screen, and I'm not doing it. But I keep on pushing. You never give up at what you're doing. And I have a commitment to a calling, which is to share Christ's commands of love. I feel all you have to do is look at the last election, there's very little love there. If we use and live by Christ's commands of love, America will stand together, and it will be great. It's a matter of loving one another and not playing the games that we are seeing. Well, I'll take you inside again briefly. Out here, by the way, I carved my bushes out like hearts. Used to have beautiful morning glories. For some reason, I don't think it's accidental, really had a rough time of it. On the bottom of the screen, there's a thank you, and that's from the veterans for your support. There for a while, I was just sending, out of necessity, a symbolic dollar when I wanted to support something. There was a time when I would give $1,000 as a symbol. So, those days are gone. I mean, I've seen times when I've had less than $5 in my bank account. I'm going to change this here. And in the top picture, I had a memorial stone for soldiers, and said pray for soldiers in the Mideast. And I changed the numbers that were lost. When I was in the hospital, the city removed the stone. I replaced it with the American flag and the board that you saw in front of the gallery. So once again, please support Wounded Warriors Project. It's the least you can do. Later, my home was actually sold on auction October 18th, and last Sunday they served me a 3-day eviction notice. I took the notice and went to court, and there's potential for trial. It's very, very difficult for me to move out of my home and I have a library of art books that more art books than some libraries do, and paintings everywhere. But that's beside the point. Back to basics. Support our military. At first I gave him $2. Then, while caring for Leroy, I thought about one time where I had just gotten back from the hospital, and I was in a wheelchair, and I'd take the shuttle up and come back around 4:30 to that, 15 minutes either way. I got back early. Now trying to hitch a ride. I'm in my wheelchair right at the time when the doctors, the nurses, and the people who work at the clinic leave. And I'm going like this, hitchhiking, thumb out. They're waving in their car, smiling. Hi, goodbye. It took a veteran with post-traumatic stress who was in a van. It looked like he might be living in that van with his wife and young child. They picked me up and brought me to the home of a veteran's wife that is ill with a number of different problems, and I also care for her in my own way. And I remember another time, I was up for treatment in the Palo Alto hospital, and I missed the shuttle back. The veteran picked me up. I should have been going to San Francisco. He gave me a ride back down to Seaside, where I could get my car. Veterans help veterans. We should help veterans. It was terrible what happened at the end of the Vietnam War. And even now, there's people who want to cut the support. Got a little bit miffed when Senator McCain said that the honorary scholarship should be for those who are re-upping for a second tour of duty. You're more apt to get killed on the first tour of duty when you don't know what the hell you're doing. But anyway, please support the Wounded Warrior Project. Look up Wounded Warriors on your internet and see the men and women who have given so much, and they need your support.